Going to solve today is add two numbers. This is number 2 problem in LeetCode, medium difficulty. And the question is, you are given two non-empty linked lists representing two non-negative integers. The digits are stored in reverse order, and each of their nodes contains a single digit. Add the two numbers and return the sum as a linked list. You may assume the two numbers do not contain any leading zero except the number 0 itself. So we have two linked lists. This is the head node, and we have 243, which is 342, 564, which is 465. And then if we sum this up, the output is 807, right? In example 2, both of them are 0, so the output is 0. Example 3 is 9999. This number plus 9999 equals this number. So for a problem using linked list, it is easier to draw. So let's say we have 2, and then 4, and then 3, and we have another linked list 5, 6, and then 4. So this 2 is our L1, and 5 is L2, right? So for this problem, we're gonna code as we draw this. First thing we are going to do is to output, we are going to make a head node. This is a head node, and then 2 plus 5 is 7, right? So we are going to make another 7 here. 4 plus 6 is 10, so we are going to make 0, and then we have to add 1 here, right? This is going to be our carry. Then 3 plus 4 equals 7, plus 1 is going to be 8, so we are going to put 8, and then the one that we have to return is this node, right? We have to ignore this head and then return this node. So to do this, first thing we have to make is a list node head. List node head equal new list node. And then to track where we are going to make a list node current. So list node current equal to head. And then what we need is our carry, right? We need our carry because sometimes a case like this, we will need to carry out and then add it to here, right? Add carry of 1. So we'll put int carry equals 0, and then while. So in here, let's say we have a node like this. We will add these two and then move on, right? Move on. Add these two and then move on. And then L2 will be null in this case, right? But since even if L2 is null, L1 is not null at here, so we want the loop to keep going. So in here, we will stop whenever L1 is null and L2 is null, right? So when you're making a while loop, you can put this exclamation it is not, and then put your condition where you want to stop. So we will stop this while loop whenever L1 is null and L2 is null. But to simplify this with De Morgan's theorem, we can change this to this, change this to OR, and then get rid of this. If you know what De Morgan's theorem is, you can find out. And then what we need is we want to, as L1 and L2 proceed, we want to store this number in somewhere, right? Because if you just write L1 plus L2, this will give an error because L1 is not to itself, it's a list node. This is the class is list node, so you need to do like L1 value. But just to be more clear, we'll make a num1 and then num2. So int num1 is going to be L1 value, and num2 is going to be L2 value. And then we want our sum. And our sum is going to be simply num1 plus num2, right? For now. And then our carry. So let's see how it goes. Our carry is 0. We initialize our carry here. And then int num is L1 value. So 2, this is 5. Our sum is 7. And then what we want to do is so the next step we want to do is we want this, right? We want to make this another node and put sum in here. So we want to do cur dot next. So this cur dot next equals new list node, and then put sum in here. So for people who doesn't know how list node works, so cur dot next, this part will make this arrow. This is a next, and then equal new list node. Making new list node will make this circle an empty node, and then if we put sum in here, this will put 7 in here. It looks like this, and then we have to do cur equals cur next. In that case, we can track the most recent value like this. And then L1, so we have to move this L1 to next, right? So L1 equal L1 dot next, L2 equal to the next. By doing this, our L1 pointer will move here, L2 pointer will move here. So next case, 4 plus 6. While L1 is not null, so L1 is not null in this case, so we can go through this while loop. In num1 is L1 value. Num1 is L1 value for num2 is L2 value, so 6. Sum is num1 plus num2. So this is where we have problem. Our sum becomes 10, right? But what we want to do is we want to make 0 here and then carry 1 to the next one, to the next part. So what we can do is we can do sum equals num1 plus num2 modular 10. By doing modular, this will divide this 10 by 10 and give you the leftover, which is 0, right? So by doing modular 10, you can have 0. And then we have to update our carry, right? Our carry equals, we can do like if sum is greater than 9, carry equals 1, else carry equals 0. We can do like this, but to make it easier or simplify, we can do int, carry equals num1 plus num2 plus, and we have to do carry 2, right? Plus carry and divide it by 10. So here, what is our carry then? Our carry is going to be 4 plus 6 plus 0 divided by 10. So it's going to be 10 divided by 10, which is going to be 0, right? And let's say our sum is 11 and divided by 10. It won't return 1.1 because our carry is an integer, right? So our carry will just return 1. So we can do it like this. And then carry current next. So here we can have our current next equals new list node of sum, and then move our curl next, and then we move our L1 to next and move our L2 next. So we are at this position right now, like this. And then the last step. Well, L1 is not null. So L1 is still not null, right? So it will proceed. Num1 is L1 val. Num1 is 3 then, and num2, we have a problem here. In num2 is L2 val, but L2 is null, so null.val, null will not have a val attribute, right? So it will return an error. So for this part, what we want to do is we will do L2 null, out val 0. And even for this, L1 null. So what this is meaning is if L1 is not null, so if L1 has something, if it's not null, it will just give you L1 value. If it's null, like this part, it will just return 0, right? So in this case, L1 is not null, that is false, right? This is null. So it will ignore this part and then give you 0. So your num2 will be 0. And then here, int sum. Int sum is num1 plus num2 modular 10, which is going to be 3, right? But what we missed here is we didn't add carry, right? We have a carry from this part, and we want to add this in here. So the sum can be 4. So we have to add carry here. And then carry, this works. Carry is going to be 0 in this case. Cur next, new list node sum. Cur next is 4. Move our cur to next. Here L1 is L1 next. So we have a null after this. L1 is L1 next, so L1 is null. And we have a problem here again. L2 is L2 next. Our L2 is already null, and null has no next attribute, so it will return error. So just like what we did here, we'll open an if function. If L1 is not null, then do next. If L2 is not null, do L2 next. If it's null, it will just stay here forever and become a null, right? So we are both L1 and L2 are null, and then we'll go here. So in this case, L1 is not null, right? I mean, L1 is null, right? So this condition doesn't work. L2 is null, so this condition also doesn't work. So it will break the while loop here. And then what we have to do is, the reason why we made head is just to simplify, just to simply return head next. So what is head next? Head next is this one, right? We want to return the first node, right? But to do that, we will make a head first and then put it to head next and then simply return head next. So we will return head next, right? So we have our code. It will work for our first example, I think, but there will be edge case. So it works for this one. And if we submit, there should be an edge case. For example like this. Or we don't even need that example. What we need is, let's say 999 plus 9, right? So in this case, what we're doing is we have L1, L2, and then next is null. In this case, our num1 is num9, num2 is 9, sum is going to be 8, and then carry is going to be 1, right? So we put 8 here, move L1, move L2. Here, our num1 is 9, num2 is 0, and the sum is going to be 9 plus 0 plus 1, right? So it's going to be 0. And then our carry will remain 1 because this is 10, so this should be 10, right? And then we move L1. L2 is null, so we don't move it. L1 is 9 again. So 9 plus 0 plus 1 is 10 again. So our sum is 0 and then carry is 1, right? So it looks like this, 0, 0. But if you do 999 plus 9, it's 1008, right? But as you move this L1 here, it will break the loop and it will just return head next. It will just return this 8. But what we want is we want another 1 here so that this can be 1008. What we're missing is we missed the last carry here, right? So whenever we break the loop, whenever we break the while loop, we need to check if we have a leftover carry. If the carry is 1 or carry is 0. If the carry is 0, we don't need to do anything, but if the carry is 1, we have to put this at the end of this node. So what we need to do is if carry is more than 0, curl next is new list node carry. So like we did here, if carry is more than 0, you can just do if carry equals 1, but I just prefer doing this. If carry is more than 0, curl next is new list node carry. By doing this, our curl would be here at the end of the while loop, and then we check if our carry is greater than 1, then we make another list node here and then put carry so that our number can be 1008. And at the end, we don't need to do cur equal cur.next because we only need to track this. We only need to return this 8. So return head next and then submit. And that was the solution for add two numbers by using list node.